are you? I'm Nessa Barrett and I'm from LA.
Hi, I'm Kendall with the Hi, How Are You project, and I'm with Nessa Barrett.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Doing great, doing great. Happy to have you here. Okay, so while many may know you from TikTok and you really started when you blew up on social media, can you kind of tell us a little bit what that was like to transition into music and the impact social media had on your mental health?
Music has been a part of my life since the day I was born, and I always knew in my heart that's what I wanted to do, and social media was something that was kind of accidental and just ended up happening, and fortunately for me, it gave me a platform and the chance to be able to do music as a career. So I feel like the only thing that was hard to adjust was my audience, and for them to kind of see me as, you know, a musician, a singer, rather than a social media persona. And so it was a little difficult, and of course that comes with hate and opinions and, you know, people being a little bit judgmental, but yeah.
Yeah, I feel like your music is really a representation of who you are. And when did you decide once you kind of got famous from TikTok, you were like, you know what, not only am I just going to put out music that other people are going to like, I'm going to put out music for me?
Well, music always was something that I used as a source of therapy. It was how I coped growing up. I mean, I would struggle and I'd be in my bedroom and write songs to help me understand my own feelings and process just the pain that I would go through. And so without a doubt, I mean, music was always something that was how you express yourself, and it's just, you know, who you are. And so I would never use it for anything other than that. I think it was not even like a question at that point.
When you could have the opt to not be so transparent about what you've gone through mentally dealing with anxiety and depression, why did you decide to be transparent about it?
To help other people. That has been my number one goal. I feel like I'm not doing any justice if I were to put on this facade and play this role as if my life is perfect and I'm perfect and I'm not struggling, because it's not helping anyone. When I was at my lowest growing up, I always felt that I was alone. I feel like that's the biggest struggle when it comes to mental health, is that you are in such a dark place that it makes you feel like you're the only one that's going through it. And I want to be that person that would like show people that, you know, everyone goes through things and that they're not alone, and that it's really good to learn your limits on when to be on social media and when not to be. I feel like there's kind of this strong hate culture right now with society, and people just thrive off of drama and you know, just hate, and it's sad, but it's just how the world is. Yeah, sucks. So I always have the most burning like feeling to respond and to prove myself, but every single time I've been in positions like that, I decide to take the high road and just keep quiet, because I know myself and I know my truth. And honestly, it's made me it brings more peace to the situation. Just, you know, when you know who you are and you're not worried about what everyone else is thinking and trying to prove yourself, that's when, you know, it comes more peaceful for you. And
right, knowing who you are, you also know the type of people that you want to surround yourselves with. So how have you been able to maintain friendships but also decide and navigate who is for you and who isn't?
Well, oh my God, I've been in LA for, you know, almost 4 years now, and I've gone through a handful of friendships and friend groups, and each time I was like a different version of myself. And I think it was up until recently, about 9 months ago, I decided that I really need to dive into my own healing journey, and that kind of forced me to fully isolate myself. And so I, you know, kind of backed myself up into a corner, and I didn't, you know, talk to anyone, didn't go out, didn't hang out with anyone, and I just wanted to heal for me and figure out who I am. And since then, I mean, like, the people that I chose to surround myself with are the ones that are truly for me and like support me and, you know, have always been there. And I feel like there's just, you know, everyone's on a different frequency of life, and yeah, it's just good energy. I like to surround myself with good energy and positive people, and, you know, the ones that are very loving. I think that the biggest thing that I want to share to everyone is to never give up, because I have hit rock bottom before, and I talked about so many times when I was 14 and in the mental hospital from like a failed suicide attempt, and it was before all this, and then a year later this is when this happened, and it's like I never would have thought I'd be here, and music saved my life, and this all saved my life. And I just know how it feels to know that, like, to feel like life's never going to get better, and you know, it's forever pain that people have to deal with, and I want to just be like this sort of like physical proof that that's not true. You know, everything can turn around, and I always think, like, God forbid if that my 14-year-old self, if I actually didn't make it that time, you know, and I wouldn't be able to do this, and I wouldn't be able to be here, and I wouldn't be able to help other people. And so till the day I do this, till the day I die, and so like every day I do this, I want to, you know, just kind of be a voice for them and to really help them feel like, you know, everything's gonna be okay. I mean, I wake up every morning and I'm just thankful that, you know, God gave me another day to breathe and to wake up and to have beautiful encounters with everyone in the world. And I mean, just being able to perform here today, it's just so surreal to think that this is my life. And yeah, it's really special.
Well, that's so good. I'm glad you're speaking to us, that you're the happiest you've ever been, and that you're confident as you are. And thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
Thank you for having me.